Hi everyone, this is Irene. This is my first in a series of flower videos, April Showers Bring May Flowers. I'll be using Neenah Solar White cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, a piece of Canson 98-pound mixed media paper. That's 7 by 4.5 inches, but it's just basically to fit the stamp on. I'm using the Ellen Hudson Mondo Hydrangea stamp set and matching dies. We're just going to be using the flower and the leaf for this card. I'm using a different sentiment from another stamp set for that. We're also going to be using the Sizzix Diamond Pattern embossing folder for the front of the card, and Zig watercolor pens. Then we're using Catherine Pooler Designs New Ink Midnight to stamp the images. And the Zig color pens that we're using are 044 and 045 for the leaves, and 036 and 083 for the flowers, which are basically deep green, pale green, lilac, and light blue. Okay. So here I'm trying to show. I have mine numbered with labels, so that's easier for me to see the numbers and to sort them. And then we are also using I'm using the Misty Stamper, which you can also use an acrylic block like I have here. But because I'll be stamping on the watercolor paper, it tends to be porous. And you can see some sides are a little smoother than the other, but this allows you to stamp multiple times because it stays in the same place so that you don't have to worry about not lining it up. So I always use the Misty when I'm stamping on watercolor paper. But if you don't have a Misty, you can use an acrylic block. You just have to make sure you really press down well the first time. Okay, so let's get out the stamp. We're going to stamp the flower. I love the hydrangea. It's like my favorite flower in this particular color. I love them all, but this is my favorite. I have a couple favorite flowers, but we're going to stamp the flower and the leaf. We're going to have to do the leaf twice. Okay, the Misty comes, I also posted stamped on the smoother side. I like this Canon paper because it's not as thick or textured as the other watercolor paper. So I think it's easier to stamp on. It's also like a lighter, closer to white color. So you line it up on the cardstock, make sure it's against the edge so it stays in the same place. You push down and then it sticks to the stamper. So that means they'll always stay in the same place every time you push it down. And then I just, you can use the magnet to hold down the paper, but I didn't think I needed it. And so I'm just stamping, I'm just taking the ink pad and tapping it lightly on the stamps. Make sure I get enough ink. It's kind of hard to tell when you're doing it backwards like that or upside down, whatever. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp it. You can see here that I stamp it once and then I didn't press down enough on the bottom of the flower, excuse me, so you'll see in a minute that I have to redo just the bottom part of the flower and the stem. So I just put a little bit of extra ink on that. Ink it up again. Just in those areas. And that's what's great about the Misty. Now, as long as that paper is against the edge there, and I push it down again, and it's going to post, see, I double check here to make sure it's, you push down, it goes exactly the same spot. So this is a great tool, especially for this kind of paper. Okay, so that came out good. So here I'm going to wash my stamps. I just get a baby wipe and wipe them off. I have a scrubber that I scrub my stamps on when they're on an acrylic block, but when they're on here I just take a baby wipe and just wipe the ink off. This kind of ink does stain. It's waterproof, first of all. Which you need when you're watercoloring, but it does stain the stamp, but that's fine. it doesn't mix in with other inks when you use it again. It just stains the actual stamp. But it makes it easier to see the stamp though, the next time you use it. Okay, so now I'm going to place the leaf again on my paper so I can get one more leaf for my card. And again, I'll go in with the ink pad and stamp it up, ink it up. Okay, give it a good press. And there we go. Okay, now we're getting ready to color. I'm going to do the flower first. I got my 036 light blue and 083 lilac. Here I kind of couldn't remember how I did it the first time, so I go back and forth with the leaves. Here, you'll see in a minute on how I do the coloring. The first time I did it, I think I colored all the way to the edge of each petal and left a little white. But when I first start, I start coloring the whole thing. So here I go with the lilac. I do the whole leaf first in lilac. Here I'm trying to remember how I did it. Okay, so I'll go back and forth in the video, and you could play around with it at home and see. I think I could have probably left a little more white even now after I did the card, but it still looked pretty. It has that periwinkle blue kind of color when you mix the two colors. So I do the whole petal with the lilac, and then I come in with the light blue 036, the Zig color pen, and I think I start at the tip with the blue because I want to get a little more blue at the end. And you'll see when I go ahead and do a few more, I leave more white at the top. So, but either way, it basically comes out the same. So I concentrate the blue at the tip, and then I blend it in with the purple. And I add some more blue at the end there. So it like kind of goes from the periwinkle blue to the light blue when you're all finished. I think when I did it the first time on my child card, I did the purple, left a little white, and then I blended the purple into the tip, the white tip with the blue. So here I'm leaving some white at the tip this time. Yeah. I think with my first card I started at the bottom. Yeah, here I start at the top with the blue. Get it blue and then start blending the purple. I start pulling the purple up into the blue after I color the tip blue. So there's more concentration. So that looked a little bit, they both look good. I go back and forth here though because I actually keep forgetting. But before you do any kind of coloring, you just even just draw some circles and practice and see what you like the best. The color definitely looks a lot in the pictures, and in the video it just looks like a bluish purple, but you can definitely see how it changes color in person with the color the card right in front of you. The colors definitely looks a lot better, looks more realistic. I'm not really a pro at the shading thing yet, but I'm trying. So here I color the whole petal again. I think I keep going back and forth trying to see what I like best. So, but like I said, they all basically, I mean, not every petal looks the same, so not every petal looks the same on a real flower, so it doesn't really matter. They all basically looks more natural that way. See, I'm trying to decide which I like better. These pens blend so beautifully on the watercolor paper and makes it very easy. do a few more petals at regular speed, and then I'll speed up the video so it's not too long. Here I'm going to the end with the blue again. But this is really fun to color, very therapeutic. What I did when I was trying to do the first card before I did the video, I was playing around with a bunch of different colors to see which ones I liked the best, which ones looked more like the hydrangea color that I love. I believe you have to, depends on the acid in the soil, determines what color the hydrangea will come up. I don't remember if this is high acid or low, or pH, whatever. But I love these flowers. And we had a lot of rain in April here in Jersey, so everything's all blooming now. Okay, I think I do a few more like this. Let me see, yeah, I leave white at the tip of this one again. Concentrate that blue. Probably could have left a little more white and then had part of the white with the light blue and then concentrate a little more blue, so it went from like gradual light blue to darker blue to purple. But next time. It still looks really pretty though. I don't know how much you can get of that in the video. Here we go again. It's very relaxing. These, like I said again, these markers make it so easy. These are really great markers. I love them. The tips of them are very, it's like a paintbrush, and tiny tips, so you can get into really tiny parts of the flowers and stuff without going out of the lines or anything. And we are going to cut these out with the dies, with the matching dies, but they don't go exactly to the edge of the flower, so you still do have to try to stay in the lines, because there will be like a white edge around it when we cut them out. Here, again, I think this is when I realized, oh, I went back to coloring it all in again. Get lost in the coloring. Kind of all over the place, but they all look basically go together. They look the same. They're not drastically different when I do it either way. Pretty color. I'll have to try another one in the pink. I know they have like a pink hydrangea. I don't know how many colors they have. 2 or 3. I think they have a white one, a pink one, and the this color, like the periwinkle blue. And here I speed up the video just to show a few more. I don't do the whole. I didn't record the whole flower being colored, because basically after a certain point you kind of get the idea. And you can just practice and play around it, you know, on your own. I do like maybe a couple more flowers here. A few more petals. Didn't really take that long. I don't know why I keep putting the caps back on the markers. I'm used to using the alcohol markers, and you're not supposed to leave the caps off because they could dry out. I keep putting the caps back on, and really don't have to with these until you're finished, because they're watercolor markers. They're like almost like a paint type of watercolor paint coming out of the brush. I think these are my favorite markers. I also have the Spectrum Noir Sparkle pens, but these Zig markers, they're my favorite. Do a few more petals here. And then I'll finish it up off camera. I think I finish up this flower, this one bud. Be great if we can, here we go. Now I slow down here. I finish up this one, and then I take the tip. I actually did the middle of the flowers with light blue, those little tiny things in the middle. Okay, and here now I'm going to do the leaves. This is my very first video editing, and tried to make the transition smooth, but it didn't work out that way. But I know I will get better. It's a lot of work, all the card videos out there. So here I'm just putting the lighter green, which is, it was 045 pale green. I just do the whole leaf in the pale green. And then I take the darker marker after that, which is the deep green, 044, and I just go around the edge. And like I said, the tips on these pens, they're tiny little crannies in this leaf, but it makes it so easy. Like, look how fast I'm going. I'm not even going out of the lines. I just basically do around the edge, and then I go down the one side of the middle of the leaf. I didn't want to do all the veins because I didn't want it to be too many lines, and this turns out to be enough. And then I just blend the dark, that line, I just blend that darker green into the lighter green with the light green pen, with the pale green. So basically it goes from like darker on the edge of the leaf, and then as it goes into the middle of the leaf, it goes lighter. And so I do that all the way down. Do that all the way down on the side, and then I bring the dark in from the middle and kind of mix it around there. Like I said, these pens are so easy to work with. Here I'm doing the middle, getting the green, deep green from the middle and pushing it out. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Go around the edge. First down the middle, and then I'll go around the edge, the other leaf. You're crunching in the background. It's my little guinea pig chewing on her toy, right? Doing cupcake. Okay, so I'm blending in the outer part, the deeper green, with the light pen, with the light green pen. Blending it out. You can see how it just, these things are so easy to work with. Love them. And you don't even have to be an artist to use these. That's what's so great about them. If it looks good to you, then it's good enough. Of course, I've seen a lot of good art out there, but it takes practice, I guess. And there we go. That's the first leaf done. And we're going to do the next one. I don't know, I probably should have sped this up, but I didn't. Just show you the leaf again. Color another leaf so you can see how I did it. I think the next video I do, I'm going to add some music to the middle. I just wanted to get this out for May 1st for my first video series. I probably should have started it a month ago. But as I get better with the editing, I will be able to add some music to it instead of having to talk through the entire video. Here we go. Now I'm going to blend them. Blend the dark into the lighter green with the light green pen. Marker. It's a great stamp set. I've made a few cards with this already, doing all different kinds of, I'm trying to think, I used alcohol markers on this one time. That also blended really nice. I might have done some white embossing and watercolored inside. And this was the first time I actually used the zig markers. I think so far it's my favorite, using the zig with this flower. Okay, quickly blend, finish the other side up. And then after this I'll be, to cut so that the video wasn't too long, I didn't show me cutting the pieces out with the Big Shot, but I used the Big Shot machine, which is basically a machine where you put the metal dies on the paper in surrounded by plastic plates, and you just roll it through. It's almost just puts pressure. You roll it through this machine and it cuts out the paper for you. This flower probably wouldn't be that hard to cut out by hand though, so if you didn't have the dies, you could easily cut this out, fussy cut it out by hand as well. Also get closer to the leaves and the flowers doing it that way. Okay, so there we go. So that leaves finished. And then we're going to go over to the machine and cut them out. And I think I go right to the sentiment after this just to save time. Instead of showing you how I laid everything out, I basically just cut them out, set them on top. Oh, I also used a Big Shot to emboss the folder to give it the texture on the front of the card. So here you see the front of the card's already embossed with the diamond pattern, which is the same. I used the Gina K Designs new stamp set. I'm going to be doing a video with that flower too. That's my other favorite flower, the Gerber Daisy. I absolutely love Gerber Daisies. But I'm going to use the Happy Mother's Day sentiment for this card. That's why I've got that out. I already embossed the card base with that diamond shape embossing folder, which just puts an impression in the paper. And before this, I basically arranged the flowers to the way I like them, and put dimensional stickers on the back, which just props the flower up on the card. And I arranged them and stuck it on the front already. Now I'm putting the Happy Mother's Day. I do this a couple times. I didn't press hard enough the first time. I didn't like the way that looked. This the Catherine Pooler Designs ink is so, I mean, you literally just tap it a couple times in very lightly, and that's all you need. So this time I came out really nice. So I have a Stampin' Up! Puncher that punches out little labels, and it fit that sentiment perfectly. So I cut the stamp out, put some dimensionals on the back. These are the same ones I used, the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Basically like a double-sided foam sticker. You peel it off, put it on the back, and then you peel the other side off. You can see I'm peeling the paper off the back. I cut one a little bit smaller to fit at the end there. And I peel them all off and sticky. Place it right on the front of the card, and then that's it. Trying to make sure I get it nice and straight, and that's it. And that's the finished product. It looks much better in person, the color, especially the colors of the flowers. Oh yes, that's right. I totally forgot I did this. I used the shimmer. It's a spray that just basically, I mean, you can barely see it. It sprays like a shimmer. I'll try to put all the links to all the products that I use under the video here. You just basically spray it and it leaves just a sparkle shimmer. I usually spray it into the air first. Make sure I put something down so it doesn't get on my table. and then I quickly put the card through the mist so I'm not spraying it directly on the card. I think I try it one more time. It's hard to see in the video, the sparkle, but I mean it's subtle to begin with, but it's hard to see in the video. Here, my lighting isn't great. I just used a regular lamp. I give it one more spritz. It's just a subtle way of adding just a little bit of sparkle to the card, and that is my finished card. Trying to get some of the sparkle there to show, but so that is the finished product, and I hope you enjoyed my very first video. Please forgive me if it wasn't the best. And that's my April Showers Bring May Flowers, my first in a series of 4. I'll be doing one a week for the month of May. So thanks so much, and I hope you enjoyed it.